Hello and welcome to another episode of Reviews on the Couch where we discuss movies, how they made us feel, and lessons we can pick from them. My name is Elsie Godwin, and if this is your first time of stopping by, kindly subscribe by clicking the button below and, of course, hit the bell button so you get notified each time there is a new content. Thank you. On this episode, we're discussing a Nigerian 2020 movie titled Mama Drama. The film tells the story of Mena, who battled infertility for many years, and her surrogate mother. Mama Drama stars Osas Ighodaro, Kunle Remi, Kehinde Bankole, Femi, Adebayo, Salami, Shaffy Bello, Chineye Wilfred, Adunni Ade, and Opeyemi Aiyeola. It was directed by Seyi Babatope and it is now available on Netflix. So if you have not seen it, I encourage you to please go and watch Mama Drama on Netflix. Joining me on Reviews on the Couch to discuss how this movie made us feel are two people who coincidentally have been guests on Reviews on the Couch in previous episodes. I have Precious Nwogu, popularly known as Mama Zeus. She is a film critic and a reporter with Pulse Nigeria. And then I have the creative director of Sodas and Popcorn. And by the way, they are doing an amazing job at Sodas and Popcorn. And his name is Awojide Olumuyiwa. Thank you, Muyiwa, and thank you, Precious, for joining me on this episode of Reviews on the Couch. I wish I can give people the background story to making this happen right now, but thank you guys so much. So we are discussing Mama Drama, and I saw it now, I think yesterday, because of Netflix, and thanks to that. But from what I hear, Precious has seen it like way before Netflix, as the privileged film reporter that she is.
Oh no, the movie premiered in cinema in 20. No, it premiered in cinema in 2020, but due to the pandemic, I think it didn't last for long in cinema.
Wow.
The cinemas had to close, so I think that's what happened. It was embroiled in that messy lockdown issue.
Okay. I'm happy for them that there's Netflix now. I
Hmm?
never did. I never heard of it. I saw it for the first time, heard it for the first time on Netflix.
Actually, you were the one that told me about it for the first time 2 days ago.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
So too bad to their marketing team now. They not
My
do a
sister,
good
when you
job.
tell them about marketing, they don't agree. They will argue with you from now to tomorrow, but hopefully they will learn from people like Moabudu. But anyway, moving on. So when you saw the movie, I'm going to start with Muyiwa, because I have a feeling that Precious is not going to be very nice today. So Muyiwa, what do you think about it? Personally, I think that the acting is what I love, right? I think everybody was pulling their own weights from their own angle and in their own zone personally. But let me allow you to speak, Muyiwa. What was the journey like?
Okay, so Mama Drama, it's a tale that looks at the lives of two different families, and then the whole surrogacy thing that comes into play, and all that. Now, when the movie rounded up, the final frame of the movie said something about the fact that IVF and surrogacy is still one of the strongest. I can't remember the exact words, but what the message was trying to pass was that it's still one of the best alternatives to childbearing. But did the movie really do a great job in showing how that is a great alternative to childbearing for people who can't bear children? Well, that's not what I saw from the movie. I just saw it as rich privilege, which is the truth, because I kind of know how much IVF alone costs. Talk less of a surrogate mom and all those things. So yeah, it's not for it's not for just anybody who wants to bear children. So I don't think that connects. That's the first thing. But performances were really good. I mean, if ever I was doubting Osas, I think this movie showed me that okay, she can actually pull her punches when given the right material and the right platform. I think Shaffy Bello stole the show, in my own opinion. It was really captivating, that type of performance. Everybody else was all right, was good. And performances sort of rescued the movie. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because the story was simple, straightforward. It wasn't bad. It was good. It was simple, straightforward, predictable. But the performances to me was what really sold the story. So I think that sort of sums up what I feel about the film.
Okay. So I totally agree with you when you talked about Osas. She brought her A game. Maybe she, like you said, maybe it's the right space, right director, right materials. Everything was working for her. But I think that this in Mama Drama is the first time I'm really seeing Osas and saying, yes, this lady is doing something extraordinary, right? So kudos to her for that. Shaffy Bello was really Shaffy Bello. But Precious, what do you think?
Also, for one, when I watch a movie, the thing I look out for the most is probably it's the story, not probably it's the story. I want to see how I feel like the audience will connect to it, how strong the message is, even before I look at the performance. So I agree with Muiwa about some of the performances being good, but I wouldn't call them extraordinary. I call them good enough to pass. But the story was one kind for me. It was such a delicate message, and I didn't feel like those some of the infused humor that they added to it made any sense. Because if you're going to tell a story about infertility, the struggles of infertility, that you can mediums that you can take if the resources are available, you want to make it a little serious minded. So at some point when I watched the film, which is almost a year ago, I didn't know the perfect emotion that it was trying to elicit from me. That was how I felt at the time. Maybe I need to rewatch it on Netflix to see maybe they took out some parts and they did some nice cuts. And also I had issues with the editing. There was this particular scene where Shafi was having an argument with her sister, where the sister was admitting to her that um she also had to adopt the surrogacy process. And that
Yeah.
scene, when I watched it, it was a huge mess. It appeared as though they were both not in the same place when they shot that scene. Shafi was somewhere else and they just cut it together, and it was so obvious that it was a terribly done job. And there were some other ones of which I don't remember at the moment, that I felt like this was really off. So towards the end of the film, they sort of struggled to they sort of struggled with where the story was actually going. And just like Moiwa said, you're going to tell me about surrogacy, but then you're going to, if you're trying to preach to me about adopting surrogacy, I don't think the best way to preach to me is to tell me about all the things that can go wrong with it. I feel like if you're trying to preach to me about surrogacy, you should try with a story that poses surrogacy as a saving grace, not as a problem. So that's one of the few things I had. But my biggest problem was probably its production.
I'll go back to the fact that somebody that is astronomically wealthy, that has a private jet, and this is his son himself, not the mother. Um, there has to be those elements, those very strong elements of showing. And what we
Mm-hmm.
saw most times, wide shots or medium
Right.
shots within living rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we could see luxurious furniture and things like that. But look at, I'll give an example of living in bondage. Now, living in bondage, you saw the house, right? You saw the house, you could tell that this house is in its own, is like a palace. You get, there was an establishment shot and all that, that sort of showed us, okay, this is how the house is. Then when you enter the house and all those things, then you had the fast cars, all those elements. Now it's understandable, the story is different, but some elements of believability, if you're trying to let us know that, okay, somebody is this wealthy and things like that, those are some of the things that you have to do, not be quick about some elements in terms of how you go about the editing and things like that. So I think that's sort of my extra comment regarding that.
For me, I want to take it back to what Precious was talking about. The scene where the whole production error really started or was really glaring. And that was where Shaffy Bello found out that her sister also used a surrogate mother. That was the point where Osas was also supposed to talk back at her for the first time. It was really disappointing because I think that scene was supposed to be amazing, right? But taking it to what they want to portray and surrogacy. So I want to get your personal opinion now. What do you think about surrogate mothers? Because there was a time on Twitter, I saw a tweet where some agency said they are into surrogacy, right? And they said if you are interested in being a surrogate mother for someone, that you can earn as much as 1 million naira. So I saw a lot of people come for them. I was saying this is slavery and all that. I totally agree because I don't know why it is just 1 million naira I want to pay to carry your child of life for 9 months. I think that is playing on the
So
poverty issue we have in Nigeria. No, don't ask me how much I want to collect. But my
no,
thought is,
No.
it's the target
So,
audience. Do you get, like they are looking at although well, I have an opinion. Yeah, I mean I'm a father, so I think I do have an opinion. Now, I'll be quick about this. Now, if they're speaking to people that are saying they should take 1 million, it's definitely not anybody on this call. By God's grace, I believe, right? So that's like I put my life on pause for 9 months for 1 million. I don't think it's any of you that would be the person that they're speaking to. But somebody who has like maybe like my child's nanny, for example, now, who has a school cert certificate and she earns maybe I don't know whatever salary, whatever thousands of naira in a month, she would that 1 million naira probably salary that she's earning in 4 years. So that's probably the kind of person that they are looking at. But now there are other costs. I would like to believe, you have to ensure your baby is in the right environment, feeding the right kind of, the woman is feeding the right kind of food, all those things. So I think it's about the target, the people that they are looking at.
so for me, surrogacy is just like every other method for people who are trying. The trying infertility is a very sensitive topic, and it should be treated with as much with an equal measure of sensitivity. Why do I say this? A couple of years ago, when I was still in the university, a doctor friend of mine suggested that I donate my ovaries. Is it ovaries that are called? Say that,
your
no,
eggs,
not
yes,
my
egg,
eggs.
eggs. So
But
don't
then I
donate your
donated my
ovaries.
eggs.
So
I beg, you think I
I
donate?
don't want to get
He suggested that I donate. He
to
suggested that I donate my egg, their ovums, whatever. He suggested I donate my eggs, and he at the time, imagine a young girl in the university and somebody is offering you like 150K. Like, oh my God, I know all the things I can do with it. But the only thing that stopped me at the time was I imagined that my child somewhere, I'll have a child somewhere that I'll never get to meet. And being an almost only child, it's just my sister and I've always loved the idea of having a family, like having siblings. So it's like, no, I can't do it for all the money in the world. And at the time, one of the persuasive techniques he was telling me was, you're helping women who cannot do this on their own. And
Mhm.
I've been in space where women with infertility have tried to look for solve their problems, and guys, honestly, is such a frustrating place and really painful and emotional place for anybody to be in, because if it's your desire, you will do anything as long as you have the means to do it. You do anything to have a child. So be as it may, any medium that is safe, healthy for all the parties involved, I don't see any issue with it. In fact, I will promote it if I can. And then I think the agency that was offering a set amount. I don't think that's proper, because they usually go into contracts. Oh, this is how much I want, not to state out an amount outrightly. Because honestly, even if somebody offered you 10 million naira, a lot of things can go wrong. Look at the issue
It's
that came up
actually
in
a
the
life
media.
and death situation when it comes to pregnancy.
Do you understand? Remember, there was this case that was in the news some months back. The sister-in-law went to help be the surrogate mother, and the hospital, some hospital in Europe, did some nonsense, and the lady is unable to walk. So imagine having that lifetime, the chance that there can be something that can just go crazy, or something can go wrong, and you lose your legs or lose your life in the process. There is no amount of money that can actually equate it, or equate that experience. Also, is while being pregnant with a child, you sort of share a lot of things with that child emotionally. So at the point where you are giving the child away, I don't think it's going to be that easy. Oh yeah, I don't born and take, I'll be on my way. It has to be. It takes a lot of fixing yourself
Detachment.
mentally, even afterwards. Fix a whole 9 months carrying an entire human being, and then you just give the human being out, even though the egg is not for you, the sperm is not your lovers or your partners. It's not that easy.
But do you have any reservation when it comes to the process now, or the method a child is being birthed?
No, no. So true story. I when my wife was in the clinic during the last stages of her pregnancy for our baby. There was a woman that I saw that had she had tried to give birth 3 times and it had failed, or rather, she had miscarriages 3 times through natural birth. Excuse me, please. So eventually they had to try IVF, and even the IVF was the second trial. Mind you, IVF is very expensive also. So the IVF during the second trial, eventually the baby stopped. So the husband decided his wife was going to be on bed rest for the entire 9 months. So she was in the hospital throughout the period, so that she was being watched by doctors very closely. And when she eventually gave birth, she gave birth to triplets. Now, I
Whoa.
don't think that woman would have, yes, I don't think that woman would have that kind of, maybe I don't know how it happened. I don't think that woman will have that kind of success story with without this thing that we're talking about. So it's an alternative that I think is very good for people who are trying to bear children. And if it's something that you can afford, if it's something that you can do, why not?
This movie did one thing. It made me go back to read a bit on surrogacy. Yes, I know the concept and what it is, but there are different types. There are even people who, yes, they're carrying the baby and they're also donating their own eggs, right? I think they call
Yes.
those ones traditional surrogacy. And then there's the other one that is gestational, which is the one they were talking about in the movie that now became traditional. So, like you said,
Mm,
I don't think they did an excellent job in explaining what could go wrong, or why the surrogate woman had the right to even come out to say that she's the mother or the biological mother of the child, right?
mhm,
And in some
mhm,
states as well, they are actually against doing the traditional method of surrogacy, because this issue that came up in the movie can actually come back, because the woman can now say that the child is mine, the child has my DNA, and I can
mhm,
claim the child to be mine because she also donated her egg and not just her womb, right?
mhm,
But for me
mhm,
now, I think there are rules based on what I've read as well, in terms of, like you said, medical research, your mental health. You go to meet a psychologist, they check your genes, your DNA, to know if the baby will be healthy, being in your womb and all that. But also the very important one for me is, I mean, I don't know what my future is going to be like when it's time to say I want to have a child. But I don't think that if I decide that I'm going to do surrogacy, that I'll ever use someone that is around me, or someone that is connected or related to me. I don't know if that makes sense to you, because I feel like it's something I want to do with
well,
somebody that I won't have to cross path with.
Babe,
But I think you'd
babe,
probably.
can I say something?
Okay, go
I,
ahead.
sorry, Muyiwa. When your God, let me say, God forbid you are in that situation. Every option will sound like a great idea to you. So you can't say for sure now what you would do or what you wouldn't do. Because if you tried and you didn't find somebody who is probably affordable, you try to look for other mediums that will be that you can be able to afford and still have your dreams come true.
Hmm.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I was going to call back to some things that that the movie actually did right. So right to a certain extent. For example, the battle between the parents, of course, is something between the mothers. Um, now, Osas had taken care of the child for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
and she had experienced that bond, which was why she said she wasn't going to let the baby go. And she said, "Look, I'm going to do everything I can to keep this child." And on the other hand, the what's her name, Kehinde, had carried this baby in her womb for 9 months, and she was also somebody that built very strong bonds with the child. So a lot could go wrong in the whole process, right? And I think that's something that one way or the other, the movie actually kind of points out. And then there were some other things here and there that the movie also pointed out. So I think I just wanted to draw some remarks regarding that and just give them some kudos in that area.
Something writers can do, because I've seen a lot of movies where women are the center of looking for babies, but not a lot of men being not men being the problem, but men being the ones looking for children, because we pretty much know how it is for a woman, and we've seen it in films, but we don't know the internal struggles that the men deal with when they struggle with infertility. And I think it's something
Mm.
that Nollywood writers can do better at showing us. And but one thing I learned from the movie, I didn't learn it sharp, but one thing I liked was one thing people should take away from it is the fact that when your child is struggling with infertility, even if it's your daughter-in-law, your son-in-law, that's not the place where you mount a lot of pressure on them, because in fact going to sleep for them, they feel like a failure. Going to sleep is it controls when you're looking for a child. Yeah, it controls your sleep and waking up time. Do you understand? Because you are thinking, you never really know what happens inside your body, and that period where from your period time to that ovulation period, you're thinking, could it be now, could it not be now, as it happen, as it is mentally tasking. So I think parents at that time should be supportive. We should have parents who are actually ready to support their children all the way, rather than mount unnecessary pressure on them.
Mm. Rather than looking
Preach,
for a grandchild that is not missing.
Mhm.
preach, sis. In
Ha!
response to about from a man's perspective, actually, there's a movie right now in cinemas called The Wait
Wait.
that actually does that. And I think that was one of the things I liked about the movie. There's I don't want to spoil it, but there's a very strong perspective of a man in the film where he even actually joins support groups. So and that's something you don't see most times, where a man joins support groups to share his pregnancy story. You get. So I think just to call out and give kudos to the movie on that particular
Are
thing
there
that you
actually
asked.
support groups in Nigeria? Sorry, just asking, because I know that it's not a
Um,
it's not a cultural style that we are familiar with. Even myself, you will not see me going to see a gig for anything. That's why I will tell my Jesus will solve my problem for me.
But you know
Thank
that's
God you're
part
in
of
the
the Nigerian
abroad.
mentality.
God will shape your mindset for us now.
Have
Amen, Lord,
you?
amen.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. We still have to raise the movie regardless. Interestingly, I felt watching it. I enjoyed it. I liked that they tried to touch on surrogacy, but like we've rightly said, I think that they have to. We need more movies that will talk about this surrogacy process and do justice to it. Also look at it from our own peculiar angle, like in Nigeria, and what is attainable in terms of the processes, legal structure, the monies involved, and what can be done. So we need to do better. But then I enjoyed watching it. I liked the little drama. I was irritated by the drama in the court. I think it was extreme. Like it wasn't.
It
Yes,
was
they started it.
drama.
What?
I said it was drama.
No. It was. You know when you do something first, you do it well. You did it second time, you did it well, and then you start doing it
That's
third,
what I'm
fourth, and you're
saying.
like,
That's what I'm saying.
what
That's
is
what I'm
what
saying.
is
It
wrong
was
with
drama.
you?
You know when it's just drama, when it's acting, when
Mm,
it's very,
it
very
was too much.
artificial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was too
was. It
much.
was pretty much drama.
Yeah. So if you're going to rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, starting with Precious, what would you rate it?
Gang, gang, gang.
Okay, if I'm going to rate the movie, to be fair, I'll give it a 4/10. 4 for performance. Thank you.
God have mercy.
Okay, so I would rate it a 6/10. It's a feel-good family drama. You know, there are lessons here and there, cultural lessons. You know, the whole cultural divide. Oh, okay, how do Igbo and Yoruba mix up? How do all those things? You know the whole issue of childbearing. It's just a feel good to me. The movie sometimes take itself seriously, sometimes it didn't. So you know there wasn't so much of where it would position itself in terms of the emotions it wants to evoke, just like Precious said. But to me, I think it's a feel good family drama. And as a matter of fact, after watching it, I told my wife, you know what, there's a movie on Netflix that just came out. Let's just see it later tonight when you're done with work. So I'll be seeing it again later tonight. So I think for me to be able to, decide, okay, in one day, see it twice, it's all right. It's not bad. It's a feel good family drama. That's just it.
That's all we can take on this episode. Thank you for watching. And of course, like I always say, if this is your first time of visiting my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe by clicking the button below and also hitting the subscribe button so you get notified each time there is a new content. My name is Elsie Godwin and do enjoy yourself.